I'd crumble. Do you know what? I cried pretty much every day this camp, been going through so much, and these guys have kept me stuck together, and I couldn't have done it without them. It's been tough, so.
Some fighters want to win. Some fight for glory, for money, or for fame. But Dakota Ditcheva fights for something much deeper: respect. She doesn't chase attention or headlines. She earns them. Call her names, question her skill, or try to humiliate her, and she'll turn the cage into a place you'll never forget. She's elegant, composed, and terrifying. A smiling assassin with fire in her hands and thunder in her knees. When one rival called her fake, a poster girl, and another called her a cheater, both of them discovered the same truth the hard way. Dakota Ditcheva isn't hype. She's a storm wrapped in discipline. Before she was a global name, Dakota was already a whispered legend in gyms and fight circles across England. Born in Manchester to a fighting family, she grew up with discipline, toughness, and focus ingrained in her DNA. Her mother, Lisa Howarth, was a world champion in kickboxing, a pioneer for women in combat sports. Dakota didn't just inherit her mother's fighting spirit, she sharpened it. From the moment she stepped onto the mats, her future seemed inevitable. By her teens, she was a Muay Thai champion. By her early 20s, she was known as one of the most dangerous strikers in Europe. Her fights weren't just wins, they were exhibitions of precision, patience, and controlled violence. But as her success grew, so did the criticism. "She's just a pretty face," people whispered. "She's being protected by the promotion. She's a marketing product." It didn't matter that she had finished 13 of her first 15 fights. People love to talk until they have to stand across from her. Her next opponent, Sumiko Inaba, was everything the fight world loved: wild, fearless, and full of confidence. Known as the Lady Samurai, she was a brawler from Japan, with 8 wins, only 1 close loss, and a reputation for breaking people. She fought like chaos in motion, charging forward with aggression and pure will. Before the fight, she said, "She's never been hit hard. I'm going to surprise her. She's not built for this." Then she went further, crossing the line. "She's knocking girls out too easily. Has anyone checked her hand wraps? I'll get justice for the ones she cheated." It was a bold claim, and a bad mistake. At the weigh-in, Dakota smiled, calm as ever. But she didn't touch gloves. That smile wasn't politeness, it was warning. This wasn't business anymore. It was personal. When the bell rang, Inaba came forward immediately, swinging like a storm. Dakota stayed patient, eyes locked, movements fluid. She slipped one of Inaba's wild hooks and countered with a right hand that echoed through the arena. The crowd gasped. Inaba had just met real power. Dakota's footwork was masterful, her timing sharp. Every time Inaba closed the distance, she was met with a jab, a hook, or a punishing knee to the body. Inaba tried to turn it into a brawl, but Dakota turned it into a clinic. She used her Muay Thai like a surgeon, slicing through Inaba's defenses with precision. Body shot, leg kick, elbow, repeat. By the end of round 1, Inaba's face was marked and her confidence shaken. By round 2, her breathing grew heavy and her forward pressure slowed. Still, the Japanese fighter refused to quit. She charged forward again, desperate to change the momentum. Dakota met her with a counter right, a left hook, and a perfectly timed knee that made the entire arena gasp. Inaba staggered. The referee hovered, but Dakota didn't rush. She picked her apart, piece by piece, calm, cold, and clinical. Inaba's toughness kept her standing, but she was outclassed. Even the commentators couldn't believe it. "What does Dakota have to do to stop her?" one asked. "Throw a refrigerator?" But in round 3, the fight took a brutal twist. In the middle of a clinch exchange, Dakota felt something sharp in her arm. A pop. She knew it immediately. Her arm was broken. She looked at her corner and nodded. No panic. No fear. Just resolve. She switched her stance, started using her right hand, and kept fighting. With one arm. Every punch, every knee, every strike still found its target. She didn't retreat once. When the final bell rang, Inaba was bloodied, bruised, and barely standing. The judges' cards read 30-27, 30-27, 30-24. A flawless win. As Dakota smiled through the pain, she admitted, "I think my arm's broken, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. Even monsters feel pain. But real warriors keep going." Her next challenge came from Sweden's Cornelia Holm, a veteran grappler and submission specialist who believed she had the secret to beating Dakota. "My experience is greater," Holm said confidently. "She's not used to deep waters." At the face-off, there were no smiles, just silence and intensity. When the bell rang, Dakota began testing distance, throwing crisp jabs and feints. Holm immediately dove for a takedown, but Dakota's defense was airtight. She sprawled, stuffed it, and punished Holm with brutal knees to the ribs. Each one landed harder than the last. Holm tried to hold on, but Dakota's control was relentless. Round 1 ended with Holm hanging on for dear life. In round 2, Dakota turned the pressure up. She threw a right hand that rocked Holm's legs and followed with a barrage of punches that had the crowd on its feet. Every strike landed clean. Holm, desperate, tried to grab hold, but Dakota pushed her off and smiled. She could have gone for a submission, but she didn't want that. She wanted the finish standing. In round 3, it came. A jab, a cross, and a head kick that landed flush. Holm dropped instantly. Another knockout, another statement. By now, Dakota had the world's attention. Undefeated, dominant, violent. But there was still one test left. Could she hang with UFC-level talent? The PFL answered that question with a challenge. Taila Santos. Taila was a beast, a former UFC title contender who'd gone 5 rounds with Valentina Shevchenko and nearly won. Experienced, powerful, technical, and determined to prove she was still elite. Santos crossed over to the PFL, chasing the $1 million prize, and to prove that Dakota was just hype. She mocked Dakota online, saying, "I'm more complete. She's not ready for me." At the weigh-ins, Santos smeared on lipstick, smirking as she called Dakota Barbie. Dakota just grinned, because she knew. Looks don't win fights. The night of the fight, the lights dimmed, the music hit, and the crowd roared. Dakota walked out dancing, loose and fearless. Across from her, Santos looked tense. The bell rang. Dakota started sharp. Jabs, front kicks, side steps. Santos tried to take her down, but Dakota stuffed it and reversed her with ease. Then, out of nowhere, Dakota unleashed a front kick straight to Santos's face. The crowd exploded. From that moment, it was pure domination. Santos tried to push forward, but was met with endless combinations, hooks, elbows, knees to the body. Dakota chased her, broke her rhythm, and forced her back to the fence. Then she went for the finish. A flurry of knees and punches until the referee had no choice but to stop it. It was over. Dakota Ditcheva, the so-called poster girl, had just dismantled a former UFC title contender. She became Britain's first female MMA world champion, winning the $1 million prize and silencing every critic who had ever doubted her. And in a moment that instantly went viral, she reached down, picked up the lipstick Santos had mocked her with, and applied it in the middle of the cage. The crowd erupted. It wasn't arrogance, it was artistry, her way of saying, "Call me Barbie one more time." That night, the world finally understood. Dakota Ditcheva wasn't hype. She was the future, the perfect mix of beauty, power, and precision. Her rise was a blend of hard work, heritage, and hunger. She had faced injuries, insults, and elite opponents,